A host of rivers, creeks, streams, and an even greater array of canyons.
It gets a little narrower.
Create the man-made marvel known as Lake Powell.
So there's Labyrinthine Canyon.
Now immersed below the placid surface lies some of the most spectacular canyon country on Earth. Country the Dene, or Navajos, once called home.
Something drastic causes a sand dune to shift.
After lake and Navajo mountain, all that, you know.
Funding for The Desert Speaks was provided by Desert Program Partners, representing concerned viewers making a financial commitment to the education about and preservation of deserts, and by the Stonewall Foundation.
She wasn't a child. Spaniards named the Colorado River because of its reddish color due to immense volumes of clays and sands and silts. The construction of Glen Canyon Dam in the early 1960s changed the river forever, but it didn't stop the erosion of the hundreds of canyons upstream, which form one of the world's most magnificent landscapes and are home to America's largest native Indian group, the Navajos.
The water now trapped behind Glen Canyon Dam is called Lake Powell. The rising levels in the early 1960s forced the evacuation of many Navajo families and forever changed the life of many others. Some of them seldom travel on the lake itself. This is my first trip on Lake Powell, and our boating party includes Navajos from 3 generations and more than one clan. I'm also traveling with one of my clan, geologist Dick Yetman. He's my brother.
They call this area the Lake Powell Monument Valley. There are monuments here, but I continually have to remind myself that this was once one of the most magnificent canyons in the world. It was described by John Wesley Powell as the most intimate of all the canyons in the Grand Canyon. It's nothing like when you get on Lake Powell to have a good piece of cold pizza from the night before. I've had worse.
And you laughed at me.
I didn't laugh, I was crying. All this stuff that we're seeing is not on the map because this map is for a full lake and it's down 50 feet or so. So all this stuff would have been underwater.
So what is the depth of the canyon at the dam?
I think it's about 500 feet. I could be wrong there. But it's not as deep as it was when they built it. The river was Colorado red, and it isn't red below anymore. Something changes, and all of that color is now in Lake Powell.
Colorado clear.
Yeah, Colorado clear, red clear. And there's Tower Butte. Some of the ladies were telling me that at Tower Butte, when the Navajos were relocated, a bunch of the Navajos were able to get up on top and held out up there, were able to sneak in the back to bring food. And Kit Carson and his men knew they were up there but couldn't do anything about it.
How did they get up there?
That may be more myth than reality. Do you have a license to operate this? I have money. All right, yeah, but we're not even a third of the way to Rainbow Bridge.
No, we're not. But this one's a real beaut.
It's a beaut. So Cheryl, tell us what you're doing. You're a University of Arizona videographer up here in the Navajo Reservation. How does that work out?
I came home. This is where I'm from, this is where I live. I decided that it was more important to come up here and start documenting stories of this region, getting some audio from a Navajo elder, Pearl Begay. She grew up in this area. She was was raised here before even Lake Powell existed. So right now she's talking about all the different areas where she ended up herding sheep and took the cattle and where they came here to get some water at the river before the lake. The ladies here are all related to me. They're all part of my clan family, and most importantly, they're all women. The elders are going by and leaving this earth very fast. This lake alone has impacted a community, good and bad. In one way, the families lived in these canyons, they herded sheep, they had homes. Right now, those homes can be underwater, hogans underwater. There can be sheep camps underwater.
See where that rock is right there? So they used to herd their sheep around it, and there used to be a big area, like just a sand dunelet that comes in. They used to herd their sheep in from there.
That horse belongs to this family. There's several of them. How do the Navajo people feel about water, how important it is, and how important it was for them?
The water is the most important thing in this world, where we drink it, we use it, and that's what we're made of. When you're in your mom's stomach and there's water, that everything, it comes from water, to plant and everything. You need water. That's the most important thing, she says. In a traditional way, we pray to it and all this, so everything is sacred to us.
When you introduce yourself, I would say, Shirley Francis Yanishia. I am Navajo, and that this is how I identify myself as a woman.
I see, okay. Your father is of a different clan from your mother. How is geographically is the clan represented?
Well, currently or so, there should be about 200 or so clans that exist, and each of these clans spawned from 4 major clans, and they were from the 4 original clans, and all the other clans kind of are relations to those clans. There's stories that go back to the origin stories of how those clans came to be and where they came from and which areas and all the 4 directions that that identify the clan origination. I find it interesting that when I was talking with Pearl, she said that she probably doesn't really miss very much of it. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that that she has no control over. Things that when the lake ended up becoming a part of this region, she was younger, so having overall thoughts about what was going to happen kind of didn't pertain as much, because you're just living in that moment and trying to survive.
Well, yeah, you got to think about your sheep and your corn and
so
your crops. Yeah.
You just kind of have to be nomadic, and that's part of the history of the Navajo people.
Well, they moved. Her hogan itself was not a permanent home, one single home. It was a seasonal home.
It was a seasonal home.
Yeah. John Wesley Powell came down the Colorado River in the 1870s. He described Glen Canyon as being the most intimately beautiful of all the canyons. And he described it in very poetic language. I had friends who had been here before they built the dam. I remember when the dam was being built, and it was very difficult for me to see the dam built and know what was being lost, because I had read his writings. I decided I would never come here, but when I heard the chance to come here with a Navajo family, I decided things were changing. And to see them looking at from a Navajo standpoint helps me come to grips with the fact that, hey, Glen Canyon Dam was built over 50 years, almost 50 years ago. It's a reality, and now we have to look at it from a different perspective. And it's helped having the support of the Navajos. They don't know that, but it's helped me a great deal. And then to hear their stories about how they were and how they have come to view this as just a part of their lives, it reminds me of how long I have to go in understanding how the world can change.
Many people boat on Lake Powell simply to be on the water. We came with our Navajo friends to visit a Navajo sacred shrine, Rainbow Bridge.
There's a lot of natural springs like that come from the canyon wall.
Look at this, yeah, this is as cool as can be. It must be cool all year round here.
Yeah, these are like holy water. This is what they call holy water. The one that comes from the canyon. They like to use this kind of water for blessing and all that. She said that's the lightning with ceremony plant.
Oh, yeah.
The last time we were here, it was like right up to here, and we parked the boat right there. And we were swimming right here.
You were swimming?
Yeah, we were swimming right there, but she told us not to go under the bridge. She said, as a Navajo, you never go under the bridge because it represents the rainbow. That's why you never, anywhere like there's rainbows, you never go underneath it. So it's kind of like a sacred spot. So I guess it goes back to the story of the twin warriors. Back, like the old tales that they tell.
What?
The twin warriors that first came onto this earth to find their father. I guess that was the two first Navajos that were made. There's certain places in the Navajo Nation that some of the landmarks from what the stories were told, there's certain landmarks that are put in place for that reason. And one of that landmark is here.
Yeah, it's Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, Rainbow Bridge, and then the 4 sacred mountains towards San Francisco Peak.
Uh-huh.
And then about Mount Taylor.
Uh-huh.
And then
Probably Navajo Mountain, huh?
Navajo Mountain. She said that's a natural medicine too. Oh,
How old was your mother when she first came here?
At least about 20 years ago. That's the last
Oh,
time.
really?
Yeah.
So she wasn't a child then. Does anyone ever climb it?
Nuh-uh.
It's not supposed to, that's not...
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
I don't think they allow anybody to climb it anymore.
So she said there's a lot of medicine here, natural herbs, as you can see.
Gosh, I can see all the different flowers.
She said there's a writing on the canyon wall here.
There's writing. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be nice to see.
She said she's seen it, and that's where it tells you not to go further.
You learn an immense amount when you have both two Navajos, a mother and daughter, explaining every inch of the way along here. So many plants. And the trouble is, we're in a monument, so I can't pick them and ask her to show me how they use them. So I just have to look and listen to her description, which her daughter then translates for me. But what a grand place.
Evidently, there was a huge plug of limestone that developed during the middle of this erg, this big desert area, for who knows, several thousand years, 150,000 years perhaps, and then desert covered it over. Just a little plug. And there's no true fossil correlation in it. It's just maybe an algae. But
One little infestation. If that had been limestone, that bridge would never be there.
No, it'd be gone. It'd be melted away.
So it is amazing that there would be just the perfect amount of hardness in that to maintain that bridge.
Well, what gets me here is the mass of the Navajo sandstone, because look at, from the bottom to the top, 1,200 feet, over 1,000 feet.
And that's all old sand dunes,
This
or
is
old
all
sand.
Old sand dunes. And right below it, the Kayenta Formation. That's just flat, platy looking sandstone down here. And you can see it, the Kayenta was a fluvial formation formed by water.
By water, yeah.
But look up above, then we hit the sand dunes. So it was wet, then it dried out, and then the Sahara came in.
But to accumulate 1,200 feet of sand dunes takes a while.
How do you know that?
Well, because I watched sand dunes form, and all my life they've only accumulated 1/8 of an inch.
You know, that's your problem. You've never been patient enough to see things through.
Have you been patient enough to watch Rainbow Bridgey Road?
No, but I'm seeing it right now.
How long do you think that took?
I don't think I want to answer that question.
All right. I'm saying it was 11.8 million years just to erode through it.
The lake submerged a vast array of towering and contorted rock formations, but a lot of them remain exposed. Just as photographers from the world over flock to canyon country, Navajos themselves are taking advantage of the most sophisticated photographic technologies to capture their images.
You come here in all seasons.
Yeah, I try. Summertime it's kind of hot, but you know, but this time, you know, it's real nice to come out in early morning. But this one's kind of, the sun's against you right now with no clout, you know, and I have a hard time, but I got to use my filter to kind of cut it down.
And you've got large format here too.
Yeah, so.
So you've taken many hundreds of photographs here.
I don't know, this one's 7,400.
Do you remember what it was like before the lake was there?
Just a river, and I grew up around here, you know, before the town just started developing, you know, so. And then the dam came up, and then the water came up too.
Changed everything.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't photographing that time.
I see.
Herding sheep or.
Really?
Yeah.
With you growing up here, you have a different eye for it than anybody else. It's sort of intimate for you.
I don't know, it just popped in my life, you know, but I really like to photograph and take it in first, you know, and then from there I start working certain areas or the whole area, you know.
One of the outstanding features of the Glen Canyon region is the numerous side drainages, some of which become so narrow they're called slot canyons. For Navajos, they're just part of their backyard.
We used to herd sheep around here. We've always been here like generation after generation, so grew up and was born and raised around here, so that's how we know about these canyons.
This canyon is called mountain sheep. One of the mountain sheep used to come down for the water and was stuck in one of the narrow parts of the canyon, and the rest of his body rotted and fell away, and all that was left was his head. So then people call it mountain sheep and sheephead canyon.
Did you come up in here when you were young?
Well, what we did was kind of like just herd sheep by it, and we actually didn't really look at the canyons. We kind of just herd the sheep by it, so they just stay up on top. And then with the other canyons that has more shade in it, it's a lot cooler, so the sheep would go in there to get out of the heat. And then we'll play on top until the sheep came out.
From this point, going north, the lake is probably somewhere around 10 miles, maybe a little more. If you follow the wash, it's definitely going to be longer because the wash always zigzags left to right.
Look at the miniature Monument Valley. This way, towards. You see the miniature Monument Valley? See, the bush is the hair,
Yeah.
then the nose and the eye. See, we call it the bad hair day.
It's called the bad hair day?
Yeah, that's a bad hair day.
You sure this is the easiest way up, Vernon?
Yes.
It's neat.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'd see other places like this where the sand level, where the cross bedding will shift. Most of the time, you see this cross bedding when something drastic causes a sand dune to shift, or not really wind direction, it's just basically how the sand dune was put together, which is how this is.
Goes all directions.
Yeah, so anytime you shuffle your feet in the sand like this, you're causing some sort of cross bedding, and what happens is when it petrifies, you get this.
Well, look at this right here. Now there's a good example.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
one
cross
direction
bedding
here,
there
another
and
direction
one
there.
here. Yeah.
Third direction there.
The underside is always lighter shade than what's on top, just because the top's exposed to oxygen, so it oxidizes, so the top level is always darker just from rust. This rock was newly broken, and you can tell that the top level, which is the outside of the rock here, is already oxidized, and you can see where it hasn't oxidized just yet, and it's still soft underneath too.
This is the big stuff, the Dene, the Navajo sandstone. Everywhere you go in the Colorado Plateau, you run into the Navajo sandstone. It's just unbelievable.
And
the vast desert that it represents.
So at thousands and thousands of square miles.
Thousands of square miles, the Sahara times 3.
My gosh, that's the whole Colorado Plateau.
The whole Colorado Plateau. It's everywhere. It's really like the defining structure of the Colorado Plateau, as far as I'm concerned. It's just everywhere.
What did you think the first time you came up in here?
I like the fact that this canyon shows everything. It shows water erosion, which is the section that we're in now, which is the Slot Canyon piece.
Yeah.
So then it has other erosions like wind. You see more of the water is kind of smooths the stone out.
Yeah, smooth this off here, so you want to run your hands over it.
Yeah, so the wind is actually what leaves those little shelves looking things.
Yeah.
Just like that. Actually, it has to rain only in one spot for this one to flood. Canyons like upper and lower, it can rain in multiple places and they get a flood in there. So this one, the last time it flooded was last year in October, and that was the only one of last year. You can actually see which way the water is spinning just by the way the rocks are cut. Maybe in this first 2 sections, the water was spinning counterclockwise just because of this, and then this is where it changes direction to counterclockwise, which leaves the corner we just came around nice and sharp, just like how this piece is.
Interesting,
here.
yeah.
Look at, doesn't that look like motion as you're looking down there? Sinuous motion. It's getting narrowed. What's really great here is that we're walking right up the middle of a single dune.
That must have been a heck of a dune.
That's a huge dune.
It's a straight crack that caused the canyon, right?
Straight as an arrow.
So then there's a crack and the water begins, picks up energy, and carves the rest of the canyon down straight.
Yeah, but look what it's doing as it's coming down. It's sculpting us out.
The many hundreds of side canyons give a spider-like effect to the topography. The main contributors to the lake are the Colorado River coming in from the northeast, the Green River joining the Colorado from the north, the San Juan entering from the east, and the Escalante entering from the northwest. These make up the watershed of Glen Canyon and feed into Lake Powell.
From the air, you realize that the lake is not just a body of water, but it filled up a whole bunch of canyons. And the zigzag, the lightning-shaped nature of the canyons becomes really clear. Then you see the bathtub right around.
The thing that just blows me away is the amount of water that that dam holds. And it's all held in place by that one massive concrete plug in an area this wide down in the canyon.
It looks like a little toy that somebody just sort of right down there in Glen Canyon. It gets rougher as you look east, northeast, up the canyon. It's getting rougher and rougher. And it was already rough to begin with. And that rough jumble of stuff up there is Rainbow Bridge.
And then the massive Navajo Mountain.
Boy, that is. You don't realize from the ground how big it really is.
From the horizon, it doesn't appear to be such a monolith, but it's enormous.
You get the big picture from the airplane, but I don't think you get the variety of colors. I mean, it looks mostly like a sort of a brownish red landscape.
Looks brownish red, but how about the mass of stone that is exposed? And then going up the side canyons, those slot canyons, they open up in there, and it's just like you can't imagine it's there, and you can't imagine you can get to it. And all of a sudden you're navigating through a place that seems not wide enough for 2 people, yet the boat goes right through it. After it opens back up into these bays again, you can look up, and perhaps 5 miles up there is one of these convoluted slot canyons that people come from all over the world to photograph.
But you really only appreciate that as you're looking down at it, how narrow those really are, all the way up. If we go up farther, then you look up and you can see the massive southeastern Utah, all of which drains into the Colorado. And all those sediments are winding up ultimately in Lake Powell behind Glen Canyon Dam. The Colorado River below Glen Canyon Dam now runs clear most of the time. The sediments that once gave rise to its name are now trapped behind the dam. Those various sediments were carved out of the hills and mountainsides that now form the magnificent canyonlands for which the area is famous. It's hard to imagine how big Rainbow Bridge is. Photographs don't really do justice to the size of Rainbow Bridge. Consider that if there were a 25-story building underneath it, it would not reach to the top. There would be a little space left, maybe just enough for me to fit through.
Funding for The Desert Speaks was provided by Desert Program Partners, representing concerned viewers making a financial commitment to the education about and preservation of deserts, and by the Stonewall Foundation.
This entire season of The Desert Speaks is now available as a box set of 10 episodes. To order this or other programs from Arizona Public Media, visit our website, azpm.org, or call 800-841-5923.